Ready
Gonna get
to
yeah.
talk U.S. women?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So first off, we beat Nigeria 88-74, and as we said last week, this is the first time that an African team has made it to the quarterfinals in the women's Olympic basketball. Our starting five: Jackie Young, Nafisa Collier, Brianna Stewart, Asia Wilson, Chelsea Gray, and this was kind of the start of, yeah, we're not going to start DT anymore. Thank you for your service. You're
Right.
going to be on the bench, but we still love you. And Asia Wilson led all scorers with 20 points, with surprise, surprise, a double double with 11 rebounds. Everyone played in that match. I just want to shout out Nigeria again, like being able to make it to a quarterfinal and be the first African team to do so. Like, hold your heads up high. You just happen to be playing against the United States.
Yeah. As they say, when you're like a small mid major and you do something crazy, hang the banner. You deserve it.
Exactly. And then we beat Australia 85-64, which to me, even though the France game that was the toughest, and we'll get into that. Whenever we beat Australia, that's the game I always look forward to because Australia always plays us tough. They
Mm-hmm.
typically have either the most WNBA players or the most former WNBA players. You also had Lauren Jackson, who came out of retirement to play for Australia. So it was a lot of fun watching that game. Our starting five was also Jackie Young, Nafisa Collier, Brianna Stewart, Asia Wilson, Chelsea Gray. So, oops, sorry. Same starting five there. Brianna Stewart led all scorers with 16 points in this game, and everyone played. But the big game, and the first time ever in history that both the men's and women, same two teams playing against each other.
Mm-hmm.
We beat France 67-66. And whoo boy. Starting five: Chelsea Gray, Asia Wilson, Brianna Stewart, Nafisa Collier, Jackie Young. Um, Asia led all scorers with 21 points, getting a double double with 13 rebounds. Kalia Copper played so well coming off the bench with her 12 points and her free throws are kind of why we won, especially there at the end. I also want to shout out Kelsey Plum, who shot some crucial threes when we were down. I think we were as much as down as by like 8 points at one point, but and it wasn't even that France was playing well. It's just they were playing slightly better than us because we were playing like crap. Hola. Um,
Couldn't hit a layup to save our life.
Miss layups, turnovers, sloppy play. I'm like, is our one bad game gonna be the freaking final? Like, what the hell? We legit almost lost. And if Gabby Williams of France, who she had a great game for France, was one step back, she would have tied the game and we would have went to overtime and who knows what would have happened there. So thank you for stepping on that line. um, she is French American, born in the United States to a French mother. So I think she was doing her her birth country a solid there by stepping on that line. Thank you, uh, Gabby Williams, for that. Um, but we eked it out. We eked it out. We got ourselves another gold medal, making it 8 in a row. DT's sixth, the most of any basketball player, and 61 games unbeaten for the U.S., making it 8 in a row. Sorry, 61 games unbeaten for the U.S. women. This was supposed to be an easier game than it was. My brother and I were joking about, we like, okay, so that was a fun game between the men, but yo, the women were gonna dominate them in this game, and then we're like, what the crap is going on as we were watching it. So, Josh, your thoughts on this game and how we almost broke our streak?
Jeremy kind of alluded to it. It's a good thing we won because you would have heard the if you would have just had Caitlin Clark there, and you would have never heard the end of it. You're hearing a little bit now of we would have handled it if we would have had Caitlin Clark. You don't know that,
Yeah,
but you would have definitely heard it if we would have lost for the first time since 1992.
yeah,
Especially with when it's one thing if the men lost because we were going up against it was just back and forth good competition.
mm-hmm.
This was just us laying an egg.
Yeah.
And this is me being cocky, the cocky American. It's our sport. We should win every game by 30, especially in the women's side.
Yeah.
We're still a lot. There's us. I'm not saying 50 feet of crap because that's not right. But there's us. Then there's the second and third floor because we're in the penthouse, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a penthouse that we're in. You're like on the 30th floor if the penthouse is like the 60th, right?
Yeah.
So you're like on the 30th floor. You're not on the 50th, right? That France was basically playing us as. We just could not get out of our own way. And then we started to
Mm-hmm.
force stuff. But hey, we won. I think that's the first like time that we've won by like less than six or 7 points
Yeah.
in a international game in forever.
They said it was the closest women's final in Olympics history because
Yes, and then
usually we're in the finals.
yeah, and then shout out also that France US final had 22 million viewers, which is insane. I don't remember the last time. So if you don't think the Olympics matter, they do. Um, but yeah, I hey, a win's a win at this point. A win
Mm-hmm.
is a win. It doesn't matter
A
if you win
win
by an
is a
inch
win.
or a mile. Winning's winning, as the one Shakespearean Dominic Toretto once said.
Yeah. And one thing that I will put up, Jeremy Miller said, yeah, we would have heard all the Caitlyn stuff and it would have been really annoying. And we've talked about how great Caitlin Clark is uh, on this. I was going to say pod, but it's not really a pod on this show. But with how sloppy everyone was playing, and mostly the reason why U.S. women sometimes play sloppy when they're playing internationally is because they haven't had a lot of time together. So that would be the same for Caitlin Clark. She would be playing probably the same that she played earlier in her WNBA career. A lot of turnovers, being a little sloppy, still a great player, still really good at what she does, but be playing sloppy. And that's what happens when you don't have a lot of time in between games. You're playing with people you've never played before. You don't have a lot of practice. We talked about that at the beginning of the WNBA season. That's the same for these girls in the international game. So I'm kind of glad that we haven't had to have that argument because I would have been like, y'all stop because she would have been the same as everyone else out there.
All I've got to say is, well, France, you had your chance. 4 years from now, we will have Caitlin Clark, Brandon Stewart, Asia Wilson, and Aaliyah Boston, and like we're. I'm sorry, it's just not. If you were gonna get us, it was gonna be
Yeah.
this time.
As Jeremy
Yeah,
said,
Juju Cambrink. Yeah,
Paige.
Paige buckets. Like it was. You had a good time, only losing by one. And honestly, I would hang the banner for that. Yes, am I being
Mhm.
cocky and overzealous? I don't care. You almost had us, and it got us nervous. Hey,
Hey,
you made U.S. women sweat for the first time. Congratulations.
there's a certain ad by Nike that for you just shared that kind of goes on the same sentiment.
Mhm. Play.
It's inspiring when we think about it. Every 4 years, teams come from around the world to compete. For second place.
Yeah.
We are not sponsored by Nike, but if Nike would like to sponsor us, we're
Hey, Phil Knight, you still a cool guy in my heart, man.
um, one thing that I loved from this is Stewie and Asia Wilson. They've been playing USA basketball with each other for a very long time, and they decided to recreate a picture from back when they were, I think they said 19 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So just look at that. It's great.
Yeah, it's the under. I think it's like the U19 or something like the U8.
Mhm.
I forget U20. I don't know. They do a bunch of international like stuff. So
And then the part that legit like had a tear to my eye was Brittany
Yeah,
Griner
during the national
crying
anthem.
during the national anthem. The announcer said during the medal ceremony that this was the first time BG has flown outside of the US since her wrongful imprisonment in Russia. And to see what it means to her, first to fly outside of the country, even though it is France, but
Mm-hmm.
to fly outside of the country, to be there, to represent her country, to win a gold medal, I just, my heart for BG.
Mm-hmm. You can
Anything
just
you want to add?
you can just tell it's finally all the crazy whirlwind her life went through, and then to
Mm-hmm.
finally be back on the Olympic podium. And sometimes when you do something and that national anthem hits, it
Mm-hmm.
just it all just comes out. And so you
Yeah.
could just tell of just her going through, and you can just tell it's like, oh, all that hard work, all that struggle, all that craziness that my life went through, and I'm
Mm-hmm.
still okay. We're still here. I'm still at the top. So
Yeah.
it's awesome.
And she talked about it before too, that while she was in prison, she never thought she was going to be able to play basketball again.
Right.
So to be able to not only play basketball again, but to win a gold medal, I
Mm-hmm.
just, my heart, my
Yeah.
heart. And then DT, being DT, being funny, winning her six. She was asked, how did it feel to one up your bestie, Sue Bird? You have one more gold medal than her now. And she said, it's the only reason I came. It's
Right.
funny because we scored the same amount of points today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I just love, she knows who she is, and I just love it. It's great.
Her parents being there. That was nice.
Yeah, that was really nice. Holly Rowe posted that, and I was just like, ah. Oh. And they're probably, and I was just like, I wonder if her parents still don't speak English and they're just there like going mijita, like.
Right. I don't know, but
But
she's definitely left the game a whole lot better than when she found
mm-hmm,
it. So
definitely. Hey, 6 gold medals, man.
6, yeah, it's nuts.
And KD 4.
Yeah, I thought because we were talking about it, like Melo was up there as Mr. U.S. Olympics because it's the only championship he has, unfortunately. Not well, he has a national championship at Syracuse, but as far as NBA stuff, but it's Melo. Like you can't not love Melo. It was great watching against Serbia when KD hit the one jumper like it was an ISO thing, and you saw saw Melo and his son on the bench. Like they're the only ones that stood up, and you could just you can't miss Melo. He's whatever, but he was sitting there. He was like, "No, you go here, then you go here, and then you and then Katie, you take it." And then Katie like literally like he was. It was like they were listening to him. So people were like, "Melo should be the coach in 4 years."
Definitely. Although I want Coach Bell.
Oh well, he was on the coach staff.
He's on the coaching staff. I want him to be head coach.
He will in 4 years. If Spo's Spo, he'll be there in 4 years. That's my vote. Not just because you're here, but because you know how I feel about Spo.
I know how you feel about Spo.